It's 6 a.m. in Ghana, 2 p.m. in Malaysia, and 7 p.m. in Tonga. Live from GA 0066714, John Hammond Street here in Accra. Welcome to the morning news on New Day. I am Emmanuel Samani. Good morning. The top lines this morning. In the bulletin this morning, a founding member of the governing New Patriotic Party, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe, advises government to focus on finding solutions to the country's economic challenges and stop politicking towards retaining power. Also in the bulletin, the former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Inusa Hussaini, calls for the dismissal of government appointees in charge of safeguarding River Ofing from illegal mining activities. And later in the bulletin, the labor ward of the Somanya Polyclinic depends on torchlights for care delivery following power cuts in Krobo by the Electricity Company of Ghana. And on the international front, a former chief financial officer of Donald Trump's company, Alan Weisselberg, pleads guilty to tax violation in a deal that would require him to testify about illicit business practices at the Trump organization. Many thanks for your time. Remember, we're live on DSTV channel 279, all around the world on 3news.com and across the social media platforms. You can find us as TV3 Ghana. Let's set up for the details now. And beneficiaries of the Nation Builders Corps, NAPCO, have cast doubts over government's ability to roll them into the U-Start program. The group, which hit the streets of Accra over the non-payment of their 10 months allowance, indicated that considering their number, it was simply impossible. Here's a report by George Queening.
The protest started from the Obra Spot through some principal streets of Accra and ended at the Independence Square. The demonstrators had one message clear: government should pay them their 10-month allowance arrears. For them, the prevailing economic conditions are worsening their plight. The trainees rejected government's plans to rope them into the U-Start program that seeks to advance entrepreneurship among the youth.
It is a total scam. If you are not able to pay 700 cedis and you have accumulated it to 10 good months, and now you are saying we should go to the house, you are going to give us 50,000 Ghana cedis to establish our own businesses. How can we believe that? In fact, we are starving.
They expect government to review the intervention rather than abolish it.
The U-Start is good, but you look at your cameras and everything. If you people are sent to Kuala Lumpur to go and operate a lizard, would the lizard survive? You have your profession. You can't force everybody to come and do U-Start. Even though developed countries, they were not forced. Willingly, let people know I have a business idea, because if you don't do that, you end up causing financial loss to the state, because you'll be giving the loans to people who have no business idea, and therefore what will be the cost?
Deputy Chief of Staff Emmanuel Edumwa Bosman, who received the petition on behalf of the Vice President, assured trainees of government's resolve to address their grievances.
This government is indeed a listening government. So these things that you have scripted shall be carefully considered at the highest levels. And as soon as it's practicable, you would hear something tangible on the issues you've raised. I cannot purport to have the direct answers or the form it will take, but I can assure you that as soon as possible, you will hear something explicit on this matter of NAPCO.
Although the leadership of the association has welcomed this very decision, they've given government 1 week ultimatum to get a response from them. George Quinn in TV3 News, Blaster Square, Accra.
Now, a founding member of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe, has advised the MPP-led government to forget about breaking the eight and focus on finding solutions to the country's mounting economic challenges. The MPP stalwarts urged the party to adopt measures that would help alleviate the hardships in the country before rethinking of retaining power in 2025. Abdul Sani reports.
The governing MPP is seeking to become the first political party in Ghana's history to win power for more than 2 straight terms, an agenda phrased as breaking the eight. But one of its founding members and a fierce critic of the government, Dr. Charles Rekubrobe, believes that should not be the priority now.
If you are given a chance to govern and you fail, don't expect to continue to govern. And that's not just for the New Patriotic Party, it's for every political party. We don't, democracy is not just about elections. You elect so that people can govern, so that they can improve the people's welfare. But if you've been an abject failure, where we have a situation where, quote unquote, the fundamentals have all gone wrong, why would you actually be wasting so much time talking about beyond or breaking the age? You have not achieved your task, and the failure to achieve your task is enough to jettison you from office.
On who leads the party as flag bearer for 2024, the MPP stalwart is advocating for a candidate that has not been part of managing the economy.
And people are starting to get into elections of presidential candidates. Anybody who wants to be president of Ghana and has been a part of the failure doesn't deserve to be president of Ghana. I will not get into that. I mean, I've made a statement. They are all part of the failure. And please focus on people's needs now. It is your responsibility as a media to hold power to account, not to get into the useless, trivial things of who becomes candidate. It's not all about electing candidates. It's about holding power to account. Akufo-Addo has not held a single press conference in the second term of his presidency. And I don't hear any of you complaining about it. Meanwhile, the whole country is going haywire. And people want to talk about presidential elections? No.
Meanwhile, the MPP has cautioned persons interested in vying for the flag bearership to desist from campaigning till the party gives the go-ahead.
Well, now, some clashes between residents of Katanga and Unity Halls at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have led to the destruction of property and 3 students sustaining various degrees of injury. Now, students of Katanga and Unity Halls reportedly pelted each other following a procession by Katanga Hall, which is celebrating its Hall Week. Security has been beefed up, and the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council has directed students to halt any demonstrations. Well, let's cross over to the Ashanti region now, where my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar is standing by to give us some updates on this particular development. Ibrahim, many thanks for your time. I can see some shattered windscreens behind you and all that. How did this happen, and what's the latest?
Well, Samani, yesterday the students of University, which is Katanga, were having their procession. They are celebrating their whole week. But the agreement between Continental and Katanga is that anytime each of them is celebrating the whole week, there is a red line, what we call Peace Junction. None of the students should cross that line. So that has been there for some time now. That's how come for some time now we've not been hearing such clashes, with the exception of last year during the SRC meeting that we heard that. But this time around, students of Katanga crossed that line, and those from the Ponti side also started pelting stones at them, and they also had to pelt it back to them. That's how come they were clashing. But that Peace Junction is not far from Continental Hall. That's how come the students of Katanga march here, destroyed several vehicles. In fact, I've been able to count more than 10 of such.
We seem to have lost our
Claim
connection
that
with.
some
Okay.
of their properties have been destroyed. So that is it. Yesterday, heavy security presence was deployed here. A number of police personnel slept here. So as we speak, we have police deployment both at Katanga and Continental. So for now, I can tell you that relative calm has been restored. Almost all the students are in their various rooms and they are yet to come out. But the police is telling us that they are in firm control and they will ensure that all the persons involved in that
Clash.
situation or unfortunate clash will be arrested. But I engaged with some couple of students when I came here, and you can realize that some of them are living in fear. They don't know what will happen the next minute. So all that they want the police to do is bring peaceful atmosphere, because mind you, they are writing their mid-semester examination, and from next week they will begin the end of semester examination. So they don't want anything to disrupt their academic calendar.
Okay, Ibrahim, also understand that some, students were caught up in the clash, were injured. Do we know the status of these particular students and how are they responding to treatment?
Well, I've been told that some of them have been discharged and a few of them are still at the KNUST hospital receiving medical attention. But in all, they are in a very stable condition. I was told some were minor cuts. So far, we've not heard of any major injury among those who were injured. So for now, I can tell you that the students are in a very stable condition.
Ibrahim Abubakar, grateful for your time. You heard that my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar bringing us updates from that clash there at the KNUST. Meanwhile, there is heavy police and military presence on KNUST campus following clashes between residents of Katanga and Unity Halls.
There's calm on campus as of now. The police have deployed at the two main halls, including other vantage points. And so I want to assure all parents and other stakeholders that there is calm on campus. At around 6:18, thereabout, the fellows of Katanga Hall, including their colleagues who are in UCC, Catholic Hayford Hall, to be precise, and then some alumni of the Katanga Hall were protesting as part of their Hall Week celebration. And then in the process, they launched unprovoked attack on the fellows of Unity Hall. The students at the Unity Hall decided to run back into the hall, and then they decided to destroy vehicles which were parked in front of the Unity Hall. Fortunately, nobody has died out of this. There were a few students who sustained injury and have been moved to the University KNUST hospital. What exactly caused the clash is what we are unable to tell right now. The police are investigating it. Fortunately, we have CCTV footages of the clash or the attack, and the police will review it. We are also reviewing it. But in the meantime, there is heavy police presence on campus, and I can say that the situation is calm as of now.
Some more stories now. The former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Inusaf Hussaini, has called for the dismissal of government appointees in charge of safeguarding River Ofing from illegal mining activities. This followed the discovery of a total of 838 Changfang machines and other mining equipment being used on the River Ofing. He spoke to Alfredo Kanse on Ghana Tonight.
838. You know the Ofing River? Around Dimfa on Ofing.
Yes.
Flows to Chechewure. 8 838. The question to ask is, you mean the district chief executive had no idea, had no knowledge, had no information that champagne machines were under offense? Because it's an illegal activity. In fact, it's illegal to mine on the water body. It's even illegal to mine 100 meters to a water body. And for a water body to contain as many as 838, and you say that there's no official complicity, it should have gone by now if the president were committed. The land minister should be answering questions, because we've wasted a lot of resources. We brought in speedboats. We said we were cleaning the water bodies. Often is a water body. How come that the speedboats were not there? When did they realize that the Ofin River was populated with champagnes? How did it come to his attention? They should be answering questions. The minister himself should be answering questions. It's just not enough to go and destroy champagne machines. It's not enough. You see, people don't understand. The fight against illegal small-scale mining must be said that you put people in positions with the clear understanding that this act cannot be tolerated, because it compromises the future of the country.
Now, the labor ward of the Somanya Polyclinic depends on torchlights for care delivery following power cuts in Krobo by the Electricity Company of Ghana. My colleague Roland Walker reports that the situation is dire.
The lights are not available. The generator that currently is being used, making a lot of noise. You'll find that the facilities don't have the areas to be able to manage them. So we're just taking you to where the maternity block is. The generator is not able to power this place. So it's totally dark. So we're just entering a very dark maternity block of the Somanya Polyclinic. I mean, there's just been a delivery. Of course, I can't show you the pictures because it's not a very good site. But if you can cover it before I come, so they have to use torch lights, and this is the torch light, and the woman has had the delivery successfully made by the midwife, and you can find the midwife operating in this dark room. Of course, the baby is there, well wrapped, and we don't want to see the baby's face just for confidentiality purposes. But this is the maternity block of the Somanya Polyclinic, and these hard-working midwives and nurses would have to work in these times in darkness, and it's total darkness. ECG is being assisted by the military to have the check on the transformers being done. That is continuing. So far, we've been told that they have in excess of over 100 of them, about 140 in excess. 35 have had all these detections as earlier viewers were priced off. And so the military are helping the ECG personnel to make sure that they're on the ground and are able to check the lines first. On the lines, I check for which will subsequently also brief viewers on the efforts being made by the district office of the ECG to check those lines and get the light restored. Of course, the residents in the Krobo land will have their lights back.
Let's bring you some international news now. And the former chief financial officer of Donald Trump's company, Alan Weisselberg, has pleaded guilty to tax violations in a deal that would require him to testify about illicit business practices at the Trump organization. Weisselberg entered a guilty plea to every one of 15 felony charges in a New York court on Thursday before Justice Juan Merchan. He had been charged with accepting more than $1.7 million in off-the-books compensations from the former president's company across 15 years, including untaxed perks like rent, car payments, and school tuition. Merchan agreed to sentence Weisselberg to 5 months incarceration at New York City's Rikers Island jail complex, although he will be eligible for release much earlier if he behaves well behind bars. That is shorter than many years in state prison he could have faced if he had been convicted at trial without a plead guilty. And that's it for the morning news here on New Day. But don't go away. There's more after this break with me, Emmanuel Samani.